Hello and welcome to the 17th episode of Kerbal Space Program Reborn. And today's mission is to launch our first space station module as well as our new generation satellite for the first time. So the first thing I did, as you've already seen, is accept a few contracts and also doing them right afterwards, including our moon contract mission here, which was to transmit science and data from the moon. And because we had an extra fuel tank attached to our current satellite, I decided to unattach it because we didn't really need it anymore. And yeah, so as you can see on your screen right now, I'm currently building our first space station module. This is actually being one of the core parts. The whole space station is called Cobranautica because it doesn't have any reference or something related to it, but I just found it a cool name and therefore decided to go with it. It will be containing a whole research lab as well as a fully operational computer. This is of course uncrewed for now, but once we dock with other spacecrafts there, we will be able to send crewed flights there, which is our next mission, sometime later in another episode. It also has 2 docking ports, which means we can dock 2 different spacecrafts to it. But for now we have to wait until it launches, so for now we're doing 2 quick contracts with Prometheus 2 without really having to launch the Prometheus 2 because yeah, this doesn't require a launch, we can just do all of our tests on the ground. After that was done, I accepted even more right afterwards, but we won't be doing them until later because for now we are currently having our first launch of the episode, thus being the Cobranautica, launching into low Earth orbit. And our orbit insertion went good, with each having an periapsis and apoapsis of around 180 kilometers, which was perfect because it was low Earth and it was easy accessible. And I've noticed we actually had way more fuel on board than we actually needed, so I decided to dump a whole fuel tank. And I actually let it re-enter the Earth because we don't want space junk. And for future missions, I will actually try and include this feature that we can still control dead boosters in order to make them re-enter Earth and basically burn up or splash down in the water, because we don't like space junk. Space junk is nothing good for humanity and it can risk lives if we should get in contact with some, which we don't want. But yeah, as you can see, this fuel tank we have on right here will be ditched soon and re-enter Earth because unfortunately there's no good use of it anymore. And with more space junk saved, we are now having a fully operating first core part of our space station. Sadly, like I said, it is uncrewed, but we will soon be launching crew to it. Our first flight will actually be in a few episodes from now. So I went to check on our Venus 1 mission and I have received a notification that it was lacking power, so I checked up what was wrong with it, and I've noticed that the solar panels were facing the wrong way, as you can see right there. It wasn't facing the sun, so I quickly fixed that and we were good on the track again. And as you can see right now, I am currently showcasing the Hopper 1, if you remember from a few episodes ago. And its goal was basically to jump from one spot to another, and now we are finally making its second prototype, because as you've probably known and figured out already what kind of reference I'm building, Starship's third flight had launched a week ago prior, and as an honor of it, I just wanted to do the mission of performing a Starship landing attempt, like the SN 8, 9, 10, 11 and so on. So for that I just want to build the rocket. And the ascent itself went actually perfectly flawlessly. So then I started to have a bit of struggle at first getting the rocket upright again after our belly flop maneuver, but it was kind of hard because we hadn't unlocked RCS thrusters yet. So yeah, it was kind of hard and we wasted a lot of fuel on it, which was good because we lost weight, but it was kind of bursting as well. So after a few moments I've actually figured it out, and I was actually getting close to the ground for a safe approach for landing. But as I was getting close to the ground, this happened. The engine failed, and this flight was therefore already deemed a failure. The least I could do is try for a non-hard landing, which is not 131 meters per second, but I got it down to 70 meters a second, which isn't really much of a difference because we still had a hard touchdown. After our unfortunate flight, we will definitely retry that again sometime later, but for now I've accepted more contracts and we are now building our last mission of today, which we're launching. The Carb 4, it's a new satellite with a whole new generation with a better antenna, and it's more smaller and more compact, as well as a special feature of it actually having deployable and rotatable solar panel. I've implemented this because of our previous era, which had our solar panels facing in the wrong way. So as you'll see in a second, we can now rotate the solar panels to always face the sun. And just a few moments after liftoff, we already conducted our first test. And indeed, the rotating went absolutely flawless. And we could now therefore prove that deployable and rotatable solar panels are a thing now, which we are definitely going to be using on our future missions. So after my final orbit insertion was done, there was one last thing to do, which was getting rid of the space junk. I would say this is it for today's episode and why you see this space junk flying back to Earth. I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll hope I see you guys next episode. Bye bye.